Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Debra Eckerling, goal strategist, book proposal specialist, podcaster, obviously, and author of Your Goal Guide and 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. You can't reach your goals on your own. You need your people. So every week I bring in some of my people to dive into the topic, and it is almost July. Or if you're actually listening to this, as you might be watching us live or the replay, but if you're listening to us as GoalChat on the Marketing Podcast Network, this episode is actually going up July 2nd. So basically, we're halfway there. And where did the first half of the year go? Well, we'll find out in a few minutes. But the other exciting thing about July, I almost called it January, is that my book, 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting, which is now being published by Books That Save Lives. We're doing like a mini relaunch because July is, after all, the new January. It is the perfect opportunity to etch a sketch, look at what you've done, celebrate, and move forward with enthusiasm. Yes, I said enthusiasm. Keith, I said enthusiasm. Okay, he's smiling and nodding for those listening rather than watching for the rest of the year. Because whenever people ask me about goals, what is the first thing to do with goals? Count your wins, because when you celebrate your wins, it gives you energy to set new goals. Woohoo! And so today I have with me returning GoalChat guests. We've got Stacia Crawford and Keith Spiro, both of who are not only featured in 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting, but they were here at the beginning of the year. And then the beginning of the year before, when we launched this book. So it's always kind of fun to do these let's touch base with us. So we're not like, do as I say, not as I do. Oh, we never do goals. We all do goals. We've got that enthusiasm thing going on, but we also have the ups and downs. Anyway, I would love for them to introduce themselves because all you know from me is they're awesome, which, by the way, completely accurate. But I think I should let them tell you a little bit more themselves. So let's start. Sorry, Keith, we go alpha. Let's start with Stacia Crawford from Stay Ready Media. And Stacia and I, we met a few years ago because she was a guest speaker on someone else's summit. And for some reason, she and I connected like way more than the person who actually hosted it. And I love that. You know, when you meet your people, they stay in your life. And I know that you were one of the early people I reached out to for 52 Secrets. Oh, and again, all I'm saying is you're awesome. So Stacia, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm Stacia, and I'm awesome.
Okay, there we go. Now on to Keith.
I am the CEO of Stay Ready Media, and 35 years I spent as a TV producer, and now I help people to elevate their message, get featured on television, radio, all elements of media, magazine features, newspapers, so that they can share their message with the world and make money in their business using media as a business growth strategy.
And I know, and we'll talk more about this, but I know one of your things has been for the last couple years is to be a client, not just someone who champions others. I say this as someone who also champions others. So how's that working for you?
I've been doing better, right? Getting out of my comfort zone, increasing my own profile, building my own media strategy. So, yeah, we're getting there. It's not perfect, but I always say imperfect action beats waiting for perfection any day of the week. So,
Absolutely.
nice.
And one more thing before we jump over to Keith. I love that you did the thing and now you're helping others do the things. So what was that aha that got you from, okay, now that I'm not a producer, I need to produce for people? What was that light bulb?
I think the light bulb was just recognizing that, I had this platform, people wanted to get on, but recognizing that I'm not the only game in town. And there were also opportunities for me to work with people who were not necessarily in my city, right? Like when you're doing media, you have to be in that city because it's got to be accessible. when the pandemic struck, it actually opened up a whole lot more opportunities because, now we see more virtual platforms that are available. And just like we're using it, I use it in my business. People use it for any number of reasons. Um, Media, traditional media, they're using them as well. So yeah, that was a light bulb moment for me.
Well, we all know one of my long-term goals is to get on TV, and maybe this will be the year it happens. But every time I see you, I know I check that box in my head that it needs to be a priority. So thank you for coming on to play. And let's Keith, you've been so patient. Welcome.
Hey. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I will give you the Robbie wave. Anyway, I am a business strategist, community builder. I have come from a long career in sales, marketing, communications, worked in corporations, worked in small businesses. And just as Stacia was talking just a couple of minutes ago, and yourself, Debra, helping others has always been the key, not doing a lot about me, more or less putting other people into the limelight and the spotlight. And it's been an interesting year. It's been a lot of fun. And as you can see, you've got the correct website up now. We spent the time consolidating, and thank you. It used to be Keith Spiro Photography, Keith Spiro Media. Right now, if you can spell my name, you can find me, and that keeps it easy.
And that really was a big priority for you. And something else that we talk about, it's not just about who you are and what you do. It is the act of claiming, this is my expertise. This is how I help people. This is what I do better than everybody else. Because if you don't believe that you're the best at it, what the heck are you doing? So
Right.
what was your light bulb to say it? Because, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but
Finish the question and I'll answer.
Oh, I was going to say, what was the light bulb? What I was going to say is, we've known each other a while. We met during the pandemic through our friend Jeff Pulver, and you were on my very first panel for GoalChat when at the end of 2020, I'm like, how the heck do you have a holiday party when you can't leave the house? Okay, let's throw together people who don't know each other. And that was my
virtual party.
Panel. So there you go. So what was that? Okay, I'm done working for other people. I'm going to use my words to uplift and shine the spotlight on others.
It's ownership versus rental, right? When you start out, you usually rent a property or you have a rental place. You aspire to home ownership where you have equity that builds over time. And doing this for several decades, that equity builds up pretty large, and the world's changing faster than ever. And so you really have to answer the question. I had to answer that question. So what do I do next? Do I want to be a world famous photographer? I already am published. I've been published internationally. Do I want to do training and teaching? I had never tried that. And that came about during the pandemic because you can't visit in person. And so it was, I don't know that it was an aha moment and a light bulb, as much as this gradual transition for the speed of change around us post-COVID, when people started to use Zoom every day. We are all always on TV. We are all always broadcasting. And as I've learned, and I always give Stacia credit, anytime we get together, I get
every time, not just every single time.
Every time. Because it was, for me, the biggest difference is you didn't have to take 6 months to develop something. You could think about it, design it in 2 minutes, or use those 2 minutes carefully. And one phone, 30 years of experience, one phone call later, the right things happen because you know people who know people.
Always good to know people who know people who know people. And as I mentioned, just within the last several minutes, I met you both through people, one from a longtime friend, Jeff Pulver, and one through someone who just happened to have Stacia as a guest. And I do recall that one of the things that connected me with both of you is that you were all about amplifying people. For you at the time, Keith, it was communities. For you, Stacia, you've just been that line. Get you on TV, because the more people who know you exist, the better, not just for you as the authority, but for the people who need what you have to offer, which ties into what I do as a book proposal expert. I believe if you're going to put all that time, energy, and love into a book, you need to get it sold. And to get it sold, you need to write a book proposal. And there's a whole art and craft to it, which after I turned in the proposal for this one, I dove in because my publisher was like, you're really good. Do people know you do this? And it was time to make the Deb's secret menu less of a secret. And that was actually almost exactly 2 years ago that I got the green light on this book that came out January 2025. So, wow. Even though I had been doing this work in other versions, Project Catalyst, freelance project management, the fact that this sole focus, when you know what you love, which I tell anybody, whether I'm doing a workshop or consulting, when you do what you love, when you want to get the word out, the first thing you do is you give yourself the sash or the hat or the crown as the king, queen, diva of whatever your subject is. And then you build your community, you build your presence, you build who you are, and then you let the world know about it.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Nodding.
Yes.
So this is our mid-year party. And if you're watching live or the replay, let us know what your biggest win has been so far in 2026. And yes, I've scheduled my first speaking thing for 2027, which is like, oh, wow. It seems like so far away and not far at all, which you got to love, right? But and I was saying this before we started up, is before you set goals, the first thing you want to do is celebrate your wins. So we will get into the challenges and the tips and the whatever, blah, blah, blah. But let's start with, what is your biggest win thus far for the first half of 2026? And if you want to play at home, whether you're watching us on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, please put your big 2026 win in the comments. And do you want to know what you said at the beginning of the year? Your goal.
Please.
You just want to go by the seat of your pants. Okay, Keith, you said tangible creation in line with America's 250th anniversary, celebrating the 50th anniversary of realizing a dream. Oh my goodness, you're totally doing this. Will you please share what that actually means and how you've gotten there?
So I joined up with a group that was building a reconstruction of the first English-style ship built in the Americas. It was called Virginia because it was only the Virginia colony way back in the day. And the Plymouth, you had Plymouth, but basically it was all Massachusetts for those in the East Coast. And they discovered some 20 years ago archaeological finds that confirmed all of that and proceeded as a community to reconstruct what that ship looked like with the purpose of education. And I went from being an observer, a photographer, a reporter, to a volunteer. And as the project reached its conclusion of construction a couple of years ago, it then moved into, now it's a sailing vessel. It's a tall ship. It became a member of the Tall Ships of America. And nobody expected this, but we were invited to join the Tall Ships fleet and go to Boston for Sail Boston 2026. And so my role continues to evolve. And that was the big thing, was, discover something, explore it, and then create. And the tangible creation was the media and press around this project. All volunteers, so much of everything is donated. It depends on membership to proceed. And, my biggest contribution is that I know how to connect people. I know how to be seen, be heard, be found. And so it was doing it for others. And then, as you talked at the very beginning, but also for me, it became an opportunity that, let me put down the camera, pick up the ropes, and learn some of this stuff myself. And there's an awful lot. There's a whole language around it. It's been exciting.
The other thing that we have to add to that is you're talking about Maine's first ship, which is directly tied in to your secret in 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. So do you know it by heart, or do I need to read from the book?
Well, you're the hostess. You get to quote. Read from the book. For those who are listening, we three have been doing this for a while, and it's a wonderful relationship. We support each other. You always have to build your home team and the group of people who know you best.
Okay, so seek alignment is your secret from 52 Secrets, which is exactly what you go into when you were looking at the project or getting, pun intended, on board sorry, project, you had to make sure that their mission was in alignment with yours, which was bringing community together. Did I paraphrase that well enough?
Did it very well. I knew it
Okay.
was alignment, but I thought you might be quoting some of the actual things I had said.
Why would I do that when I've got the real live you here?
I appreciate that.
So I love that your win is, it's an extension of what you've been working on for the last several years. Is there a personal win that you want to throw in as well?
Well, I think the personal win is having been invited to be part of the crew that will be in the Sail Boston Parade. So we've been fundraising to get to this point. There's a long process. You know, a lot of people will tell you that ships and boats of every type is a hole in the water that you pour money into. And so there's a constant fundraising need. But because it is community driven and because it is a nonprofit organization, there's a different feel to it. And so when you're invited, mostly you simply step up and grab the rope, pull the anchor, do whatever's needed at the moment, and you become part of that team. And so it's a fun, it's exhausting at times. There's a lot to it. And the gratification is to be part of this trip as we head south and find ourselves in the middle of a group of tall ships celebrating 250th. I'm excited. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, and to go from being, project manager, basically facilitating, spreading the word, to like getting dirty and being a part of the team. I mean, that is the epitome of a good leader, is someone who's not just talking, they're doing.
Exactly. And project manager, when you're dealing with volunteers, this was my project, was bring communications. You had shipbuilders who did the shipbuilding. You have riggers who created the sails. Everybody has an area of expertise. And I think that's one of the lessons I will throw out here, even early in this part of the conversation, that the three of us keep exchanging. That's the reason we keep looking forward. If you see us every year with Debra, it's because something has clicked well and we help each other fulfill those goals. Get your team, align with them, makes a huge, huge difference.
Go team behind the scenes, goals. Woohoo! Okay, Stacia, do you want to know what your goal has been for the year?
I do.
Okay, well, the first one is a not yet, because I know this, is to write a book proposal and get a book deal. Can't get the book deal unless, but it is a really good reminder mid-year. Okay, this is one of the things that I want to do. Yep. Now I got to either prioritize it or reassess what the goal needs to be. And then your other goal was to lean toward the concept of minimalism, so decluttering. Okay, now that you said what you were going to do, what is your big win thus far this year?
My big win thus far this year. I think one of my biggest wins has been really getting more clarity, particularly in my business, because when I think of myself as, producer turned PR strategist, and, I have several business coaches as well. And in my work with them, we have really been able to uncover that the work that I do is so much bigger than that. It's not just media. It's, it's visibility, strategy, and business growth. So I think that's kind of been a big win for me, because one of the things that I've been able to do with that is now to kind of build out my packages a little bit more. Whereas it's not just about getting booked in the media. It's really about how to use and leverage that media to build your business. I mean, sometimes people think, oh yeah, I got on TV, and it's like, that's wonderful and that's great. But my next question is always, okay, what does that do for you? And so really being able to get some clarity and really developing frameworks inside of my business that get my clients incredible results. So my clients are not just getting booked on TV, but they're actually able to say, hey, I increased my revenue by 25% this year because I can draw a direct line from here to here. And the things that we look at inside of the business, whether it's funnels, whether it's lead magnets, it's strategy, it's positioning. And so that's really been a big win for me, because I've kind of put myself into this box. And, that's something that I work with my clients on, right? You don't want to just be put in a box. You want to have that clarity, right? Of course, but not to be put in a box. And so now for me to be able to look and say, wow, it's really been eye-opening for me that, the work that I do it extends way beyond media.
The other thing that I think we all acknowledge is that we need to take our own advice, because when we think we know better than ourselves, we are wrong.
Yes.
But the other part of that, the one that goes hand in hand, is we need to also think of ourselves as our clients.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is not just about help. I mean, a big part is helping people, but if we're not out there, we can't let other people. Let's see if I can do this without being a quadruple negative. We need to be walking the walk and talking the talk, and we need to do for us what we do for others. So it's not just do as I say, not as I do.
Yep.
I know one of my wins is, and then we'll go back to a personal win. I didn't forget, but it really ties into what we're just talking about. Is I had last year a book I'm co-writing, Active Grandparenting. I got a book deal, and it will actually be out in October. But a big chunk, thank you, a big chunk of this year, my co-author Kristen Cofield and I spent. The book was due in January, and then we went through several rounds of edits, which we did via Zoom, and then more edits because the book was too long. But the whole process, it was fun because we did it together. Kristen Cofield is the pioneer of the active grandparenting movement, and when I said, "Where's your book? If you don't write it, someone else will," she said, "Write it with me." I'm single, no kids. She said, "That's fine. You know your lane. I know mine." Anyway, our agent sold it in less than a month, but we spent a lot of time this year working with our amazing editor at Skyhorse, making sure the book is not just informative and well articulated, but also it's a beautiful book. And I can say that because it's Kristen's, whose picture and with her grands are all over it, not me. But that experience in the collaborative project is a huge win. I've also worked with a lot of other clients. One of them just got a book deal with an educational publisher. That book will be out at the end of the year, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then several others that my agent's shopping right now. But we're in March.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get a move on, with that active grandparenting book, because I'm gonna need it in December.
Yay! Yes, I guess that would be your personal win.
Yes, my first grandbaby is scheduled to arrive in December, so you better get with that book. Exactly, it's a personal win, even though I had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Well, you had something to do with the kid who's having the kid, and the book will be out in October. So you've got a little bit of time for that one.
You'll be good.
Yeah, you're all good. But with this wonderful flux of activity, my agent was waiting for my book proposal on the one that he's shopping right now. And I was saying to a client in March that I have to get this done and I haven't started it. And she basically threw my words back at me. She's like, "Deb, what is stopping you?" And I basically tricked myself into being my own client. Oh, I'll just write this section. I'll write that section. I wrote this proposal in 8 days, and he got it at 9:00 on March 31st because I said he was going to get it in March. And don't try this at home. This one took 2 weeks. The one for your goal guide took longer. And then I worked with my publisher until we got it into the format that became your goal guide because we needed to theme it up. But it was one of those things that I had to have someone tell me, "Deb, what's stopping you? You know you could do this." And it was when I had to just prioritize myself for 8 days, which I did, got done. It's really good. But the fact of the matter is I needed to take the step back and be my own client in order for it to get done. And during that week, I did the minimal of everything else I had to do because I'm like 5 people. And then once that was on its way in his email and off of my desk, then I could go back to business as usual. So when you don't prioritize yourself regularly, you end up on deadline, which I guess that is what writers do. But that certainly is when you love what you do and you want to get your message out there, when you want to do things that help others, you need to prioritize, because the books that you write aren't about you. They're about the people that your books are going to help.
That's right.
Anyway, rant. Okay, so your big win. Do you have any other personal wins, or we're just sticking with the grandbaby?
I can't top that.
I don't think you can.
I just can't.
Now, if you are tuning in now live, this is GoalChat Live. I'm Debra Eckerling, and we're chatting with Stacia Crawford and Keith Spiro about our wins thus far, celebrating the mid-year. And so if you're tuning in or even watching the replay or listening, let us know what your wins are. We want to celebrate you, because that's where the momentum comes in for setting goals for the rest of the year. I feel like we should do that and then go backwards to the challenges. So let's do that. Okay, Keith, what is your goal for the rest of the year? What are you celebrating in December? Because I know you start the year early.
Yes, I will be that month early with you. December, I think, will be, I mean, you caught me off guard on this one, thinking about what we do next, but it's less.
Why are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. Come on, we've done this here a few times. You achieve a goal and you're on to the next, because it's all about growth and it's about momentum. And to me, this is a really easy one. It's about lessons learned. There's a consistency here. What makes a certain success with a group of sailors is applicable to any business that's dependent on customers or clients, or a nonprofit at a time that all you keep hearing about is they've cut this funding and that funding. A community built around a nonprofit becomes and stays a successful business, even in tough financial times. So there's a series of lessons that are clearly surfacing for me. And I think I know the goal for December is to get myself into a lot of hot water with you, looking at the book proposal and looking at really codifying what it is that has made me successful and makes others successful. I enjoy what I do, so I don't work. Right? That's what you've always said.
Okay, so you want to start turning your ideas into a book proposal.
Sounds like a really good thing to commit to.
Okay, well, you know this is being written down, and we're finding this great theme here, which, by the way, I love. Okay, and I have a feeling this is going to be one of Stacia's goals too.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Like literally, I was like, when you said the goal, I was like, because I'm not going to have twice where I have book proposal on my goal list and it's not done. So that goes to the top of the list for sure.
Okay, I basically copied and pasted what I wrote for Keith's goal and just put your name. Which is great.
For those who are listening, this is your opportunity to get in with one of the best book proposal people out there. And we've only locked up a tiny bit of her time.
Well, I think this goes back to something that I say with frequency, and I even said it already today, which is, if you've had success, if you've had an experience, if you've got expertise, in most cases, it's both. You want people to learn from it, whether it's legacy or methodology or whatever, it's fun for me because I love the puzzle. So it's basically taking what's in, reaching into your brains and helping you identify the corners of the jigsaw puzzle, so then we can fill in the blank. You know, what is the book, what makes it unique, why you need to write it, why people need to read it. And that's really why you do your business anyway. I mean, as far as I know, I am the only book proposal expert. A lot of people do it as an add-on for their other services and publishing. But for me, it's the most fun part. And this is where I choose to bring all the things I love, which is goals, project management, and communication. It all kind of goes hand in hand. And what's funny for me is because of the relaunch. So I spent the last 2 years, building my soapbox of the book proposal expert. But with the relaunch, Goal Expert is also like sharing the stage with me, which again, I love. And I'm just going to put media, like TV, will be my end of the year goal. I know it's been my, very much like you, it has been my goal for the last several years. But, and when you say you're ready, and every time you say you're ready, you're like, yeah, but I mean it this time. But I actually do know I've been slowly putting the pieces in place to let their persona out, as it were.
Yeah.
So you heard it, Deb. Media. Okay, so I want to know though, what, independent of the goal that I have forced upon you both, do you want, and it can be personal or it can be professional, what is one other project that you want to be celebrating when we're meeting again in January of 2027? They're thinking. And if you're tuning in, let us know what that end of the year goal is. What's with the negative, quadruple negatives? We want your wins, but we also want your goals so we can cheer you on. And if you want, you could if you're still on Facebook, you could become a member of my Write On Online community, the one that I started even before I moved to LA, which was a while ago, but has been virtual for the last 15, 17 years, something like that. So you will get all the links if you go to thedebmethod.com/blog. So if you want to join that, I also have a Substack now. I'm multiple projects at various stages of development, as we call it in LA. I am trying to vamp to give you all more time. I will also say that, are you ready?
Ready.
I can stop vamping now. Okay, Keith, what is your other goal going to be for the end of the year?
So since the theme for the year involves creating and exploring, the next step for me, since I have been doing a lot of writing and I'm widely published in articles, it's a transition from doing the writing to editorial, becoming the editor. And one of the things that made a huge difference at the beginning part of this year that I've circled back to is, instead of putting out the articles, to actually engage a next generation. And I've got an opportunity with an incubator that's created the opportunity for high school kids to be able to write and get published. And it puts a totally different spin, since not only is it not about me, but it is. It's the experience. It's the, you can't say, don't do that. Maybe this is good, grandparent training, right? It's the trusted friend, because you don't tell them what to do. That's what parents do. This is much more of the, I can help, I can guide. It's your decision. They don't have to take it. And it's an opportunity that I see. So I'm going to just call it the word editor for others' writings. And it's part of an incubator program that the Inkling News has.
Wow.
Okay, that counts. Go, Stacia.
That's good. For me, it's not even, it is kind of a business goal, but it's not, because I know that, business and personal, they go hand in hand. I can't separate my business from my life and my life from my business. And I know that one of the things that I have been just contemplating is that I feel like I want more spaciousness in my life to enjoy the things that I like doing. One of the things that, I'm a very creative person, not only in terms of my work, but, I love to paint and draw and sew and quilt. And I have not been doing that stuff. And I know that those are the things that really bring me joy, that allow me to be able to tap into my creativity. And by doing that, I'm able to respond and perform even better at my job as a, PR and media strategist. That creativity, being able to tap into that. So my goal is being more intentional about having that space for creativity.
I think that's so important, because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you work more than I do. and I work a lot, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that's been, gosh, I've been saying this one forever, is you need to separate your work and your life, right? It's Elena Hall calls it work-life harmony in the book, but it's looking at your life and when do you cut off your day at the end of the day? When do you have a whole, yes, I'm saying I'm going to make your goal a little bit easier, Stacia. I want you to get in the habit of having one weekend day off a week.
I love that. And that literally is right in alignment with what I've been thinking, because every weekend I am doing that. I'm like, okay, you're not going to work today, and of course this is something that comes up, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do this one thing, or I'm just going to do that, and it takes me down a whole rabbit hole. But yeah, being more intentional about that, and when I'm off, I'm off. And, yeah, of course, except in emergency and extreme circumstances, of course, because you never know with media. That's just how it goes. But still being able to carve out that space and unplug, so to speak.
Well, the grandbaby is going to help.
Yep.
Is that what you were going to say, Keith?
I was going to say the grandbaby will not give anyone else choices.
Yes.
It's totally immune from all of the things.
Yeah.
And so be prepared to have, grape jelly and peanut butter on your shoulder when you dressed for this most important thing 5 minutes later. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
And the best I can offer as a grandparent is the way to be intentional to save that time for yourself. Book it in your calendar.
Absolutely.
Give yourself a period of time that is locked, and the only thing that will beat that will be the grandbaby. But in the meantime, it is a top priority that if it's a Saturday, whatever it is, those hours are yours with a specific task or goal. Made a huge difference for me.
Yeah.
The grandbaby was still.
Yeah. And I call that my protected time. And so I've got, when I open up that calendar, I want to see more protected time in there.
Well, if you want to see more protected time in there, you got to put it in the calendar, right?
That's
right. And when you put it there, you can't then give it away because that was the one spot that was available.
Right, exactly. It's like, then it's not protected, right? So yeah, we got to, draw that line in the sand.
One thing that might be helpful is that when you see the rabbit holes, just to remember not to go down that, because I try really hard. I did an event on Saturday. Every now and then that happens. So during the week, I have a little bit more. I'm intentional about having a little more flexibility to run errands or whatever. But on most weekends, I'll end up working maybe an hour on each day, maybe 2. Not a lot.
Right.
Just enough so I can, like I usually will set the GoalChats up on Friday, but sometimes it's not till Saturday or Sunday. But as long as when you go to do the one thing, you only do the one thing.
One thing, right? Yeah. Like dipping a toe in the water. We're not going for a swim. We're just dipping a toe in the water.
Dangling the feet. The other thing that I started doing, because I live on Zoom, I live alone. I've gone whole days without talking to another person other than nodding to people because I take a walk, usually the end of my day around my neighborhood, is I aspire to one during the week and one during the day and one evening event a week. And if they have nothing to do with work, even better.
Yeah.
So I'm about 50-50 on that. But when you look at your life and you see the options available of things to do, and you're like, okay, I can go meet this person, or I could go to a networking event, which, maybe I'll meet work things, but really more about expanding your network. I think that totally counts. But most of my Zooms are in some way, shape, or form related to what I do, because when you love what you do, you can't help it. But being intentional about getting in the car and going places twice in a week, that has been super helpful for as I think Keith likes this word, a pattern disrupt of my life.
Fair enough.
Okay, if you are watching live, and I think Meryl is here, and Lisa and Philippe, I feel like I'm on Romper Room. You are welcome. there are a couple other in there that's going a little too fast. So if you're here and watching and playing along with us, we so appreciate you and we celebrate you. And if you're doing this on the replay, we are happy to celebrate with you whenever you choose to share your goals and your wins, because that's the secret to success is there is no one secret, only trial and error, which inadvertently is what we're talking about. These are the things that have worked for us. Take them for a spin, see what happens. And you do the things that work more and you stop doing the things that don't work at all.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
And it really is, even though it doesn't sound that way, it really is simple. So there you go. Okay. Before we gift goals to the other people, what has been one challenge this year and how have you overcome it or strive to overcome it? And I think I inadvertently just answered that one. It's the I'm alone too much, so I have to intentionally not be, so I'm done. What about you, Stacia? What is one challenge you've encountered this year and how are you counteracting it?
I think one of my challenges, there's always, as a media expert, I'm always looking at what are the conversations that are, that people are having. And I'm working with my clients and looking at, okay, how do we insert your voice into this conversation? And one of the things that I notice has been coming up a lot is this theme of ADHD. And it's like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, I have ADHD. And, I'm 40 years old and I had undiagnosed ADHD. So one of the challenges that I noticed that I've had, not that I'm not ADHD or diagnosed or anything, but I do know that because of the nature of my work and because it allows me to do so many things at the same time, this whole concept of focus is becoming more and more elusive, right? And so it makes me, kind of rethink strategies of how I do things. So one of those biggest challenges has been to just kind of focus. And the way that I have overcome that is I've been actually talking with people and consuming content that's designed for people who have ADHD and finding that a lot of those strategies have actually worked for me. So so that's kind of, what I've been doing, kind of looking at, okay, how do we redesign our day? And, is it a matter of, are we time blocking? Again, right, that whole concept of having the protected time, I've been using that for several months now, and it's a game changer.
Okay. Finding strategies that work, which is the whole theme of 52 Secrets. I love it.
Yeah.
Way to be on theme, friend. Okay, Keith. Woohoo! Okay, Keith, what about you?
So the challenge for me has been, because of the things I enjoy and drive hard, it's sometimes going too long, too deep, and not stopping at the appropriate point to go on, because there's more than one thing that needs to be done. And to drive to perfection prevents progress. You really have to look at a point, reach it, put that egg down, grab the next one, move on. As delicate as each one is, you can't just hold one indefinitely. And so that's been the challenge. Time blocking is a wonderful term. I just wrote that down as a note for me, because that is one of the ways that I've been working to overcome it, is a list of things that need to get done during the day. Mm-hmm. And rather than block it in from 8 to 9, I do this, and from 9 to 10, and then it's 1 hour for this, 2 hours for that, because it's a priority, 15 minutes because I need to walk around. Because like both of you, there's a lot of time I spend alone in front of a screen, developing a strategy, reaching out to others, helping, and that's the big change. I think it's moving from it's guiding, not directing anymore. It's a difference. It moves from the consultant role to enabling the others, because they will be in a project. For some people, it's their business, it's their life. And so that guidance or guiding, as opposed to directing, there's no loss of energy that way. And they build, not just me.
Ooh. So yours were kind of the opposite of each other. Did you realize that?
But that's why we like each other.
Stacia's was focused and yours was staying too focused. That's kind of funny. In like the most particularly awesome way humanly possible. One thing that I have, we're not, it's kind of wussy to call it a challenge, but balancing goal Deb and book proposal Deb was a mind shift, right? But I just did an interview that came out last week. I'm going to put it in the chat, and I love it. She called the episode Better Than Smart Goals, from big ideas to books that matter, because Deb Goals, all about the foundation for creating what you want. So I would say the challenge, it kind of took me aback to put on the goal hat. But then I remembered I love the goal hat. So integrating the different things that I'm doing has been a lot of fun. The other thing that I do, for those of you who aren't familiar, I do a goal mixer once a month. So if you want to be a guest on GoalChat or you just want to hang out, let me know and I will send you the link to register. And then for those at the very early start of their book journey, I lead a strategic starting point workshop on the first Tuesday of every month. That link will be in the debmethod.com/blog. That for me is a big deal because I've been kicking and screaming for years about starting a group program, but because I want to help more people, it's just like, Deb, get over it. So I am just doing the program my way, which is imparting the Debness, leading a monthly Debinar on the topic that I love so much to get others to drink the traditionally published Kool-Aid. So there you go. The challenge for me is balancing the kinds of people, but we're not just the 2 people or the 5 people. We are so multifaceted. I'm not telling anybody anything you don't know. We've got personal, we've got professional, we've got the passion projects, we've got the day job or the consultancy, and if you're lucky, they all intersect and you love all of them. If you only love one of them, great, you're ahead of other people as well. So just make sure you are loving the one thing. I guess I'm gifting my goal first. Find that one thing that you're not working on that you love to do and gift yourself time to work on it, even if it's a little bit each week, like say developing a book proposal. So at the end of the year, but it can be starting a blog or a Substack or a podcast. What is going to bring you the case of the happies? Yes, that is a technical term, not really. What is something that's going to inspire joy that you can work on consistently? So when you're doing the things you don't love, it's going to bring you energy to bring to all the parts of your life. So that would be mine. Find your giggle project, something that we've spoken before.
That's really cute. I love that.
Well, thank you. So Stacia, what goal are you gifting today?
Let's see. What goal am I gifting? I think the goal that I'm gifting is to kind of invite people to think on somewhat of a bigger level. And of course, the work that I do is, visibility in media, but really thinking about it more in terms of identity. So I think it's kind of an identity goal in terms of thinking like, if you look up 12 months from now, what do you want to be known for? I think that this kind of really changes the way that people think about, whether they're a business owner, whatever that big goal is, what do you want to be known for? So when somebody says your name in a room that you're not in, right, when they're talking about you, what do you want them to say? And, when you do that, that kind of creates this picture in people's minds. Oh, you have to meet her. She's doing this incredible work. And everything kind of leads to this one road. Like if everything that you're doing leads to this one place, I think that's a game changer for anybody. That's what real authority is, right? That authority comes from what other people say about you, what they believe about you, what they think about you, even, sometimes even if they've never actually met you.
Did you realize you inadvertently quoted yourself from 52 Secrets because yours was think big in your media outreach? Of course you did.
Excellent.
Oh, that is so funny. That is hilarious.
It's
At
true.
least
That's
you
all
know
it
you're
comes up.
consistent.
Right. You know what? Exactly. Exactly. Right. Oh, wow. That's funny.
That is pretty funny. Okay, Keith, what goal are you gifting?
I'm going to gift the goal of a daily projects calendar, because listening to what Stacia did and what I said earlier, the way you get to all of the things that we've talked about over the last hour is to really make time for yourself. And self has multiple parts. It's the self you share with family, the self you share as a business or employee, the work you have to do.
Yeah.
And then there's the, yeah, I'd like some personal time. I want it blocked and protected and nobody else but me. And so the goal is at the end of this visit, or if you're watching this for the first time, sit down and write down one thing for each of those three areas. A professional thing that's important to you, a personal learning thing, and a self thing. And if you write that down and then allocate the amount of time it deserves or that you absolutely can spare as a minimum. For example, my self thing is I want to learn something new. AI is actually really important. So I'm going to put that there strictly for me. I've got no skin in the game. It's a safe place. There's a lot of craziness around it. It's not a safe place. But for me, I'm doing it as a student. And I'm going to give that an hour or 40 minutes a day. And then just put that in, do the same thing for your professional. What are you doing to move to guiding versus leading? As I talked about earlier, I'm going to make sure that there's one project where that's my focus. And whatever I'm writing about during that hour in prepping materials, it covers that. And the family one's easy. That one comes when the grandchild says, help, or the parents ask for it.
Okay, I'm modifying it.
All right.
Because whereas daily is a great goal, you may not get to do all three in one day. So at least
I'm going to challenge you back. I'm going to say that if you take even 20 minutes or you don't answer or you don't jump online, because these devices, I'm holding up a smartphone, is not smarter than we are.
That's
and as
right.
soon as you go down here, it will change. One of the things I read recently, Deborah, that I think is huge for me is if the first thing you do is reach for the phone, you've already ceded your control over your life.
Yes.
And so my first 20 minutes now, I go out on the deck in weather suitable conditions, and I just kind of walk around the block or the neighborhood, and I come back in 15 minutes. That's all I give myself to do. Just under a mile. And I know what's the most important thing that day. That comes, and so whatever the category that is for me, yours may vary, but by blocking some period of time, it doesn't fall to the bottom and disappear. You're not going to accomplish the project, but you can.
No, but so it's, you don't need to do all three each day. You just need to do one of the three each day.
I'm allocating a minimum of 20 minutes for each of the three areas. And that's my challenge. It's a gift with a challenge. What can I say? I'm not going to let you take it down from where I'm standing. That's my gift, not yours.
Okay. 20 minutes for each. Okay.
Yeah.
I accept with a caveat. I'm coming back with this. I believe in the 5 of 7 rule. So if you can do this 5 of 7 days, you're winning.
Absolutely agree.
Okay.
I love that.
Compromise.
It's the win that counts. You got to move it forward. You can't just find an excuse to put it aside.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I accept that challenge. I will take that gift because I love that.
Okay. Well, this has been great fun. And yes, we're giving you homework, but we are taking it on ourselves as well. Before we wrap, where can people learn more about you? I know you already said this, Keith, but you're so proud of it. Share again.
If you can spell my name, you can find me. It's keithspiro.com.
Excellent. And Stacia?
You can find me at stayreadymedia.com.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
And I am at the Deb Method everywhere. You can also learn more about me at thebookproposalexpert.com. And if you go to, as I said before, thedebmethod.com/blog, you will get the recap, the replay, the goals, and play along at home. I am live every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And again, you can subscribe to GoalChat on the Marketing Podcast Network at wherever you get your podcasts. This has been awesome, jam-packed, completely inspiring. Keith, what final thought do you want to leave people with today?
Taking action is better than doing too much thinking or planning. And my 3 words for the year have been discover, explore, and the third word is the one that has been the pivot point: create.
Okay.
And each day, so that's my final word, is that it's the just do it thing. You have to create something. You have to move something forward.
Take action, move forward, just do it. What about you, Stacia?
I don't know. I think my final thought is, consistency, right? Whatever you decide to do, be consistent with it. And consistency doesn't even necessarily mean every day, but whatever it is that you can sustain, then start there. Just start.
Oh, I think we just came up, or you just came up with something. Sustainable consistency.
Ooh,
right?
Yes, I love that.
I mean, it's in a way, it's kind of redundant, right? Because the whole purpose of being consistent is for sustainability purposes. But going back to the 5 of 7 rule, it's what is consistent for you?
That's right.
What makes sense for you, that you're like this show. I've been doing this since spring 2020.
I know.
I've been doing a live show. And when I started it, it was what day a week, what time of day can I consistently do this? Yes, every now and then it's a holiday, and I don't think it's nice to bring people on. Although the holiday for the 4th is the Friday. So yes, throughout the month of July, we will be featuring other wonderful achievers for 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting, and going on the theme of just go. So in 52 Secrets, this is the bonus goal in the action section, came from actor Greg Grunberg. And I'm like, okay, we're just making go. I guess that'll be my final thought. We're making go the word of July. There's so much you can't control. But what you can control is how you spend your time, where you let your brain wander. Let it wander to a giggle project. There's enough gloom and doom. You don't need to help, right? But if you go for, and I'll even do one better. These are great end of the year goals, but think of one thing that you can accomplish by the end of the summer, that you can let that propel you into the last quarter of the year. So don't just be thinking of end of the year goals. Think of, what am I going to be celebrating? We're even going to say in 2 months. By the end of the summer, what can you celebrate? And you can use that energy for the last 3rd or 4th of the year, depending on when you start it, whether it's December or January.
And if you want to break it down to 30 days, that's okay too.
Yes, I think the point, the theme, what I'm trying to hammer into everybody is, with my pom-poms, right? Because I am, after all, me. Hammering in pom-poms, because that is Deb. The point I'm trying to make is, look at your life. What brings you joy? And how do you mix that with a project that either helps you and ultimately helps others, or helps others and then ultimately helps you? What is that one thing that you're going to celebrate? Because that's going to make all of the things. I mean, it's not going to make everything better, but it's going to help you and your drive and your energy as you move forward into the rest of the year.
I love that. And
woohoo!
Also, Deb, on the sustainable, consistency theme.
Yes.
You know, another reason why I like that. It's also my initials. So, so there we go.
There you go. And it's self-sustaining. It just generates positive energy.
That's right.
I love when the universe puts words into our heads that are amazing. So, okay, I'm going to challenge you as a frequent speaker. I think sustainable consistency is something that you can incorporate into your methodology.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a fun little bonus goal for you.
Yeah.
Keith, I'm trying to think of a good bonus goal for you. And the one that just keeps going in my head is, I know you're a photographer, and that's kind of gotten lower and lower on the things that you talk about. So I'm just reminding you that your photos are amazing, and I want to make sure you are not okay. This is your bonus goal. Figure out a way to incorporate your brand of photography into what you are teaching about leadership, because there's a correlation.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
There you go.
I take that. I will take that.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you again, Stacia Crawford, Keith Spiro, for joining me. Again, I'm Debra Eckerling, author of 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting, but most importantly, champion of people in all of the things in the books and the goals. So whatever it is that you want to accomplish this summer, by the end of the year, we know you can do it. So just go on out there and remember, go for it. We are here and cheering you on. Thanks, everyone.